Ricky, Johnny, let's just start by asking you, how do you know this guy?
This is the big man. This is the man that makes it all happen for me. Turned professional November last year, and Ricky was the one with the idea, and we started with signing with one of the promotions, and this is how it's making it happen.
That's awesome. How'd you find this guy?
Mate, I saw Jon probably about 5-6 years ago. I went to a sparring day, and Khalil, who his coach is, I saw him there, and I saw Jon in the ring sparring, and this was when I was fighting. And when I was watching, I'm like, man, this guy's really good. But he only had 2 or 3 amateur fights then. And I said to Khalil, I said, I want to spar him one day. And then it didn't end up happening. But after then, so we sort of knew each other from then. And when he was thinking about turning pro, I spoke to Killer. And
That's his coach?
Yeah, yeah. And we end up teeing it up. So it was amazing.
That's good. So let's spar right now. Ready? Drop the mics. No, that's great. So you would have seen something what did you see in him?
Mate, what it was, he had so much skill and athletic ability. And he one thing what I always look for in a fighter, if they get hit and they back off, then it shows their real character and personality. If they get hit and they rise to the occasion and they rise to that challenge, that's what really I look for in a fighter, because if they're tested, they're gonna come out on top, or they're gonna rise to the occasion.
Yeah, right.
And so Jon really had that, and he had that sort of speed and athleticism as well.
Yeah, well, you look like Craig David.
Oh man, it's already started.
So when's your album coming out? I'm going to get an uppercut in the head.
It's the greatest hits.
Oh, honestly.
Craig David wants his haircut back. No, you're a handsome lad for a boxer. But you do resemble the great Craig David. What do you say about that?
I've had it. The last year, 2 years is all I get. At this point, me and Craig David have got to start speaking and figure out.
Royalties
He
are
looks
out
like
using
me,
his
man.
song.
Yeah.
Are you going to come out with a Craig David?
I'm going to have to at this point, honestly.
Yeah, that's so good. No, what's really cool is that, from amateur to professional, it must have been such a big change, right, in terms of just everything, your mindset. And let's just go through that a little bit.
It's a huge difference. To some people that really know boxing, you can almost say it's 2 different sports. 2 different sports, 2 different people. Of course, the best amateurs make the best pros, usually. Not always the case, but they usually do. But obviously, I've only had 3 professional fights, but I think with every fight I've learned it's a whole different game. And this is where you start to see, with the amateurs, I do believe to an extent, with enough hard work, with enough patience, you can be good or be something. The professionals is where you really see who's made for it. And some people are just born for boxing. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what do you see with amateur versus professional?
Yeah, it's a whole different game. Like, I remember when I fought from the amateurs, then transitioned to the pros. When you're fighting with those small gloves and their compact sort of wraps and that, it's a whole different ball game. You get hit once and you really feel it. And I remember one time I was warming up in the back change room, and my coach goes, "All we've got to do is just land one. That's it." And that's what it's like. It's a lot more tribal, and it's a lot more when you go out and fight. It's your personality comes out a lot more, and it's because everything's on you. Even just from your own fight kits, from the way you present yourself to the way you speak and do these sort of things, your personality really comes out.
Yeah. Like, have you noticed that too?
Yeah. It's a big difference. You get that feeling where amateurs is like you fight, one person wins, like you can go through tournaments and stuff like that. Professional is like, if you knock the guy out or send him home on a stretcher, they're going to say, good job, here's your money, and on to the next one. It's very...
Get a bonus.
Yeah, it's a lot more aggressive, a lot more ruthless, I think. Amateur gloves are slightly different as well. Like you said, 8-ounce gloves it's a problem.
Yeah, talk us through like the first realizations of that.
My last fight, I was saying my first 2 fights, I didn't really give them much of an opportunity to hit me. So I didn't really experience like that kind of like that feeling. This last fight I just had, I remember the first round, he threw something whizzed past my face, and I thought, oh, this guy's trying to hurt me. This is not, for like as a man as well, this guy's trying to take years off my life. So
no.
Yeah.
We can't lose the Craig.
No more songs.
No more singing.
Yeah.
Now, No, that would have felt like, yeah, that's crazy realization.
Mm.
Like you've got like a bullet that you just dodged a bullet that could have just taken you out in 1 second, right?
Yeah.
That's hectic.
Yeah, you especially with this last fight, I think you understand inspirings and stuff like that as a professional. You understand it's not just about what's the word? Like, it's not just, we're here to get better anymore. These guys are here to, you're playing with people's careers, their monies, their families, and their lives. So people take it very, very serious.
There's a lot that goes behind the scenes, Ricky, that gets to like the fighters thinking about themselves and getting through the fight and winning. But leading up to it, like what Johnny was saying, you got people investing into this.
Of course.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, mate, there's so much that goes in behind that people don't even see. Even in a fight camp, like I always say, like there's literally guys will have 4 fights a year. And those are like those single events throughout the year, they're not enough to sustain these guys throughout the whole year. So literally like someone like Johnny, or he's at a higher level for a 4-round fight, he's probably getting $2,000 a fight. And if you actually put that out against the whole fight camp, which is about 10 weeks, so 10 weeks of work, solid work, dedication, 100% to that for $2,000, it's not a lot of money. It's
minimum. It's below minimum wage.
It is below minimum wage, And so these guys are paying for their nutrition, for their dietitians, for their physio, for their recovery, all this sort of stuff. So, and they're giving their absolute everything to the sport. So therefore they're losing other skills, or they're not focusing on building other skills, which makes it quite hard. So there's so much that goes in behind it, into the lead up, and really they got to maximize that when they're outside of camp, so they can build into getting that money and sustainable income for when they're in camp.
Yeah, I can see, Johnny, I want to hear your thoughts on this. I would feel pretty overwhelmed if I were you, in the sense of you got to getting ready for a fight, but then you go, I've got to be marketable. I've got to get money someday. I want to buy a house one day.
He's got to sell tickets.
You got to sell tickets, yeah.
Got to sell tickets, promote the fight, get everything in line as well with your whatever you're gonna do. If your shorts, your whatever, your t-shirts. There's a lot to it, but this is where pressure makes diamonds. If you can't do all of that, and you can't appreciate that, then you're not in the right sport.
Johnny, how do you feel like coming into a fight camp, right? And say you've got a fight coming up, and you've got to focus 100% on the fight in terms of your training. That you're probably training 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you fit in the other stuff in between the training when you've got no energy, cutting weight, all that sort of stuff?
Not easy. Yeah. It's not easy. You kind of you have days where you're like, man, this ain't it. This ain't it. I don't want to do this today.
I remember that feeling well.
It's like, oh man, really another one? But I've always said that this is a luxury. This is a blessing, because I said to you guys last time, real pressure is the guys that aren't sung about, the guys that are struggling to provide for their families and their kids, or single mothers and stuff like that. That's real pressure. This is a blessing, a luxury. So I feel privileged to be able to do this.
Yeah, and I guess like I would help alleviate your stress. I assume having like Ricky and his team help you, right?
100%. Like I said, this is the guy that makes everything happen. Without Ricky, I don't know what I'll be doing. I'll be punching, but not in the ring.
So what is Ricky fighting for you in your mind? Like, and you're in the ring. While you're in the ring, he's fighting for you as well in some ways, right?
Yeah, these are the guys that this today is possible without Ricky. Even the shows I'm on, the Wanderers promotions, they are building me and stuff like that. So I put all my faith and trust in Ricky to get me to that position. You
know what I look at, right? With a lot of these fighters, they need someone to back them.
Yeah.
And they need someone to go in and bat for them as well. And a lot of what happens when you turn professional, it's like you get let out into the ocean. You've been in a little pond, but you get let out into the ocean, and there's a lot of sharks in the ocean as well. And they need good people around them, and really that have their best interests at heart as well. So someone like Johnny, I can see he's going to do well, and the best thing, he's a good person as well. So a big thing that we try to back is people that have good character as well. So when we're looking at guys like him, it's like, how can we help him get to where he needs to get to? And it's also, we're building not only the promotion in the process, but building these fighters, building out a platform for these young fighters to really reach their potential.
Yeah, there's the 3 Ps, right?
Yeah.
That you guys have. Do you remember them?
Yeah. Promotion, solving the problem as well. Like the biggest problem I find is a lot of these guys aren't getting the money that they should be getting. And it's very hard, because when you're in that zone of just training, you got tunnel vision To be really, really good at something, you got to have tunnel vision. So therefore, you need the right people around you to really promote the other things and help where you're not focused on. And so that's a big thing. Like even Johnny doing this stuff today, for me, it's a big thing because he's got to be marketable. He's got to get up and he's got to talk. He's got to be getting people to buy into his story. So doing something like this today, this is another step on doing that. Like, and if he takes enough steps, then therefore, like when he gets to the main goal, people are all going to be bought into his story and they're going to come along for the ride as well.
Yeah. So one of the things I really love about Ricky and what I'm really excited about with you and everyone who's fighting with you guys is that Ricky focuses on 3 Ps. It generally is like building the profile. And it's funny because there's boxers out there and athletes that talk a big game. They got a bit of their profile outweighs their ability.
Too many.
Do you notice that?
I agree with you.
They're good marketers, but are they good in the ring?
I agree with you. Wholeheartedly, I agree with you. Yeah.
Empty vessels make the most noise.
It just makes you want to punch them in the head more, probably.
Something like that.
Yeah. Question for you: could you take Jake Paul?
Oh, if Jake, hey, he's a big boy as well. But if Jake was with the money that got, I'll fight him tomorrow. I'll fight him right now, man. Yeah, I'll fight him right now. But I'm not, as of late, I got to say, you know what? As much as people like to hate him as well, I'm starting to see that he is definitely making an impact that is beneficial for the sport. I think at first there was a lot of like, who's this guy coming into the scene and getting these opportunities? But now looking at it, what he's doing for the promotion, especially for women's boxing, is huge. You know, he's made the biggest women's card ever.
Yeah. So just on the weekend, just past now, they had the biggest female fight card of all time.
Wow.
And he put that on. So it was huge. There was actually an Aussie girl on there named Sugar Neeks, and she became undisputed world champion.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, awesome, right?
Yeah, that's so good.
But the problem is she didn't get that much coverage from the Australian media.
Yeah.
You know, so got like stuff like this, by doing all these sort of things, we're building more eyes on the sport and really sort of giving these guys a platform to get the recognition they deserve.
Yeah, that's so important. It's visibility. And without, there's so many great fighters. And to your point, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Australian media suck when it comes to promoting female sport like that. And we've got one of our own over there, undisputed.
Yeah.
But like we can take the reins back. And I think building profile is what Ricky does. But then that helps build partners or promotions. So like you can promote things, get people there, help get you paid. But then the third P is, I think it's partners. Because I mean, 1 fight or 3 or 4 fights isn't a career necessarily, right? It's what happens after the fight. Like people have had long careers going to other avenues after fighting because they've done it well. Yeah. But for me, it's like, how is one person capable to be able to do the fighting, the meal prep, the working, the promoting, the social media marketing?
Yeah, it's not easy. Not easy.
It's impossible.
Nah.
But you know, one thing, even with Johnny, right? Because we started doing his content, like capturing a lot of content for him, and just sort of showing to these guys how important it is to actually market themselves, right? Because if you're a business and you've just started, people aren't going to know about you unless you market yourself. And really, once you get eyes and referrals, all that sort of stuff, business starts to come. But for these guys, they really need to put themselves out there, but they need to back it up as well, right? And so when we first started working with Johnny, we said you need to really work on your socials and promoting and stuff like that. Some of his videos on TikTok, they got 500,000 views.
Yeah, well done.
You know, so it's awesome to see, and like that's the quality that he's putting out. That's his personality, his skills are making those videos get those views. So more and more, the more people that see, the more it's going to build, the more traction it's going to have. And he's going to be better for not only him, but for a lot of other fighters because of him as well.
Yeah. So what's in your life, Johnny? What made you want to fight?
Oh, a few things, man. Like, I think, to be honest, I'm still completely figuring out my reason why. I think with every fight, I kind of learned something new about myself as well. But, man, I don't know. I think like this talking and expressing myself through my words and stuff has been kind of new. As an adult, I think as a younger kid, it was more silent, but fighting is something I've always liked.
Like let me help you. So like for me, I was adopted as a kid.
Mm.
So I was bullied as a kid and I was picked on for being Asian. I have no problem being Asian now, obviously. But like I learned a bit of karate as a kid because out of self-preservation and just fell in love with it. But there's a fight in me to do what I do because I hate injustice. That's just my part of my life. Is there anything in your life that you experience where you're either inspired or you're pushed?
Moving to Australia and chasing discipline. That was the number one thing. And then, lucky enough that the first gym I found was the zoo gym with my coach now, Killer, and Tim. And being around that mindset and mentality, and that was it for me. Discipline. It was this understanding of all these things that made me kind of want to be a man or grow up into the man I am currently, is that chasing discipline. That's what it is for me. And also, I've never viewed it as prove someone wrong or shove it in someone's face, or it's because I understand everyone goes through stuff, man. Like, it's not, oh, this happened to me. Everyone, we all have problems. For me, it was all about internal. Like, it's proving it to myself. I don't think I have anything to prove to anyone else. I think it's all for myself.
Beautiful. A big thing that through the promotion, what we want to show is the different aspects that people don't see about boxing and what it does for these young guys and girls that come into the sport. Because really, some people might look at it from the outside and view it as, oh, that's violence. It's not good punching someone. But what they don't see is how much it actually does for the young men and women to really channel their focus, to gain discipline, to get character, build character, stuff like that, which is just, it's intangible. And these sort of things that we want to really shine the spotlight on what it does for these young guys and girls and the positive aspects. Because I know in society today, we're so distracted. All the kids are so distracted, right? Yeah. They're off the rails. So boxing gives guys a sense of community. When they come into the gym, they're around their mates, but they're all pushing in a direction. They're all chasing a goal. And that's massive because not many people have that this day and age.
That's so true. You can't become a master at something without a worthy opponent.
Very true.
Yeah. And in boxing, there's nothing much more clearer than that.
Yeah, definitely. I think boxing tests everything about who you are. Everything. There's not one thing that's left out that there's no hiding in boxing. Everything is going to be exposed about yourself. Your ego is going to be tested every day. And it's going to ask you what type of person you are.
Very good.
That's really well said. So are you rich?
Nah, I wish. Hopefully, one day in the future.
It sounds good with a haircut.
Nah.
No. It's because people will sometimes see a really nice, clean picture.
Yeah.
Or if you win your fights and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, like it's all lights and smoke.
Yeah,
like you're in the ring at Ricky's event, and it's like, ooh, like you're the king. But we have this assumption in Australia that, oh, you just landed there, mate. You must be always good, right?
No, definitely not. For myself, I'm very blessed for my parents. I think my parents come from nothing, like zero. My mom, my dad, my stepdad come from nothing. But growing up, I was a kid that I didn't have everything I ever wanted, but my mom especially made sure I had everything I ever needed. Just enough to she'd always support me and stuff. But we had nothing. Don't get it twisted. I remember on Mother's Day, we live in Australia now. I love Australia. Like, it's the best country on earth for me. But we went to a restaurant and I ordered for Mother's Day. I took my mum out and we went had some like tacos and chips. And she started crying. I was like, "What are you crying for? What's wrong?" And she said there was a time when I was like too young to remember that we couldn't afford a bag of crisps or chips. We couldn't afford that, So that was a big deal if we would. She said she burnt them one time trying to make some tacos for me, and it was like, we can't afford that. So she said that. I just ate it because I was like, wanted to see my mum happy. Oh. But now, in hindsight, I'm very blessed to live the life, but there's only up for me from here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that. And I love that. I love what he's representing and what he's chasing as well. Like, he's not just doing it for his own ego or anything like that. It's for a much bigger purpose. And you see that even when he fights you, hopefully one day you can come down to one of his fights and actually watch him,
Yeah.
because he's a special talent, you know.
Yeah, he's a special guy. I mean, so that's the stuff that people don't know about. That's what I mean by the fight that's in us. There's something that always drives us forward to do what we do, and sometimes it isn't like a Hollywood reason, like the Death Star's coming to kill us, but it's because when you're in the ring, your mum's in your head. Yeah, or that thing you came from. It's like, I gotta pay tribute.
Yeah.
I want to build a life. You know, and it's interesting with Tim. You mentioned Tim.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit. Tim Zhu, right?
Yeah.
He'd win in a running race.
You know what distance? That's very important. What distance?
100 meters.
That's sorry, bro. That's me, man. That's me. He knows that's me.
If he was here right now, what would he say?
Nah, he knows it's me. He knows it's me.
What about 200?
Nah, I was still taking it.
400?
Ooh.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Yeah,
It gets close. It gets close. Huh?
Yeah,
How did you meet Tim, and what are you guys?
He was the first person I met in Australia, coincidentally.
Random, huh?
Yeah.
What the hell,
Yeah. So, moved here. I didn't know anyone, just knew my mum, my stepdad. And needed to find a boxing gym. Called up the gym close to me. My coach was on the phone. He said, "Come down." And I came, and then Tim walked out. And I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And then that's how we met. Yeah.
How long ago was that?
7 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe.
wow.
Yeah.
And how much has he influenced your journey?
Oh, massively, man. Like, you know, as I get older, I think everyone, it's always the comparison. Oh, like you know Tim, you know Tim. I'm like, yeah, man. He's been a massive part of my story, and a massive part of outside of boxing, a massive part of the man that I'm becoming. I think more importantly, people don't understand that. Take the gloves off. A lot of the things that I do or the way that I conduct myself, tribute to him.
It's amazing. Well, what are some of the best qualities that you reckon you've learned from him?
Discipline.
That's
number one.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Doing something that you hate and doing it like you love it, or you know, never giving up. Always keep pushing, and that's also a tribute to Australian culture.
Yeah.
You know, that Aussie lifestyle is just never giving up.
Of
you know,
course.
always working hard and always giving something a go.
Yeah.
It's,
I
definitely.
love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. And so, with you and Tim, what's he like? Because Tim's in the profile a bit. You know, he's around and he's got a big fight this week coming up. What's he like as a person? What are you boys like when the cameras are off?
Cool, man. Like, it's like just me and my boy, man. Like, not. Yeah, we don't really talk too much about boxing, to be honest. Unless it's fight time, we don't talk about boxing. Just, you know, like, especially now that I've turned pro and we're both older, it is more of a big brother. You know, it's more of like he checks in, see how I'm doing. I check in how he's doing. He's always make sure like how I'm feeling or how things are going, and that's it. Yeah, that's.
You know, one thing you touched on before about, you know, people seeing the ring and see all the lights and think you're killing it. But what they don't see is how much hard work goes on behind the scenes, and really how lonely, you know, how lonely the sport is, how hard it is. Because you think about it, you're dieting, you're losing weight, you've got to train 2-3 times a day, you're waking up so early, doing your morning sessions. Like, no one's there holding your hand in that time. You're doing that all yourself. So you got to be so disciplined and really committed to the goal that you're chasing, because if you're not, then you're going to fade. Like, most guys fall off, you know, and it's so important. Like every time, even when I used to fight, when I had a fight date set, what I would do, I would map out the calendar, and every time how many spars I had left before the fight, how many runs, how many this. Wow. And each time I would just check it off the checklist. And it was like one more. But in those times, you really need something to drive you for the motivation, and you need to be super disciplined. And that's one thing you just touched on about Tim as well.
Yeah, that's huge. And I guess socially you would have to get good at communicating to your friends and family around you that maybe I'm not going to be available to come to everything.
I never did that. Like, I just went into lockdown mode. And looking back on different regrets and that's some things that I can help some of the other fighters. Is like, you got to get really clear with your communication. And it's like letting the people you know around you just what you're going through and actually like how much you're going to be dialed in, because otherwise I've lost friendships over it, because even when I used to fight, it was like you get so zeroed in and then you forget about everything else. So like even your mates go like, fuck, he doesn't want to hang out anymore, doesn't want to do this, he's changed, all this sort of stuff. But you haven't changed. You just got to lock into that zone, you know.
It's very hard to be sociable when you're in a fighting mindset. This is new to me, man. Doing this stuff.
You better be careful, Matt.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, like on the you know, as I've turned pro, you have to. But the amateurs is you're not doing this stuff. But I remember I used to have a big problem in the amateurs switching off, because I'd just be fighting all the time. So you know, I wasn't sociable. I'm not the most social person as is anyway, but I know I used to have a big trouble being sociable, because I just want to be thinking about fighting or thinking about training or when's the next training session or when's the next fight. And a lot of people, if they're not familiar with boxing, they can find it hard to understand that it's once you're in a certain mindset, it's not necessarily that you don't want to hang out or you don't want to do this or you're acting this way because you want to act that way to them. It's more just because when you're like this, you don't see anything else.
Yeah. And you know what's really cool about what Ricky's doing is that you seem to be wanting to give those skills to boxers.
Correct.
So in amateur, like you're saying, you don't have to, you're not thinking about promoting yourself and talking on camera and being with the press. But like you said before, it's like a different sport.
Completely different sport.
So you need to work on just like there's normal fitness, there's actually profile fitness where you've got to be good with the tongue.
Of course.
Because what you say will be on the record and that could either detract or multiply what you're doing, right?
100%. I always think like we're trying to set these guys up for success, not just in the ring, but outside of the ring. And we want to build skills in them that even if their career stops in boxing, they've got other skills, transferable skills to put into everyday life. And it's a big thing because a lot of these guys, they never really worked on any stuff like that. So we're trying to help them become more marketable and really just get out there, do the public speaking, do all that sort of stuff, put themselves out there, go do the networking, because that's where the connections are built. That's where the partnerships are built. That's where you're going to get paid more because more people are going to be invested into you, into your story, which is a massive thing.
Yeah, I can see why you love this guy. Like it's so the thing about marketing, which is my wheelhouse, is it's not just your ability, it's your likability.
Of course.
It's your marketability. And you've got to be good enough to be in the room or in the ring. But it's a shame that so many people are good enough but not known enough. And that's what you're solving.
Yeah.
Because you're not just building fights, you're building what?
We're building character, careers. You know, like we're building these guys, sort of like setting them up for the long term. And it's like this is something that it's not just, we're not looking just at the fights. We're looking at building these guys up to be good people outside of the ring as well. And it's a massive thing because people back people. You know, they don't back a boxer. They don't back, like they back your character, who you are, what you stand for. And a big thing we try to show is be humble, but also be dangerous. You know, when I say that, I mean like do it like so people know what you're about, but they know you're humble as well. So that's something that we really want to relate to our fighters as well.
Yeah, I say this, if your ability is here, but what you show is here, people will only see this. They'll just judge you on this, even though you could be really, really a 10 out of 10 or something. You work a job, right?
Yeah.
2 jobs, 3 jobs?
2. I work in the gym and then I work at 2 gyms technically, yeah. So 2 jobs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's in between all the training, everything.
How the hell does that look?
Time management is key. Time management is key. Like, you know, the training, boxing has always got to be the priority for me. It always has been. Funny story, I remember actually when I got my first girlfriend, Tim said, as long as boxing comes first, for sure, you got my blessing. But
you can't date her.
He goes, as long as boxing comes first, you got my blessing, man. But it is hard. It is. There's no easy way about it. There's no, you know, like you got to be able to make money and you've got to be able to train. And especially in this sport, there's no such thing as half-assed training. You can't do that because in this sport you can get put in a stretcher if you're not careful. So you got to make your money to live. You got to make your money to do what you got to do with your money. But you have to train. If you're not training properly and you're not training to the full extent, then it's a lot worse what will happen in there than not having some money for a week. You know?
So Friday night, Saturday night, you're not out clubbing.
No, that's not for me, man. That's not for me.
People don't understand how demanding it is, you know, and what it takes from me. I remember when I used to train, I never used to socializing was just completely off the cards. And I stuffed up a lot in my career because I didn't practice the skills about public speaking and stuff like that. I really lost a lot of big opportunities, or I didn't really go for those big fights because I was afraid to put myself out there. And if you're going to put yourself out there, which obviously he's starting to do now, you got to do it, and you got to do it step by step. You can't just go from here just to everything out there, because if you haven't developed the skills or anything like that, you're going to fall flat on your face. And doing stuff, little bits like this is gold for him, because he's getting more and more used to putting himself out there and being on camera.
Yeah, because if you had yourself back, if you had yourself now back to the young Ricky,
Yeah.
you would have been that guide to nudge yourself to go, you don't need to necessarily every single day do 10 posts and blah, 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 but there's a map.
Of course.
And when you have a map, anxiety lessens, because, okay, we've got a plan and you don't have to exhaust yourself. So that's what I see good promoters like you helping great talent like you going, I can see, just focus on that, but we're going to guide you with, we need you to be here. We need you to be here because the effect is going to be great. So you can just continue doing. I see this with musicians a lot. So we worked with Guy Sebastian, and we worked with a whole bunch of great. I was a musician myself years ago, session music. I used to do touring, and it was very much like talent and management, because talent. As soon as I saw musicians trying to self-manage the business side of the industry,
Didn't work.
the creative suffered, the songs suffered. They weren't focusing on the craft.
So true.
It changes the relationship with it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You just want to be able to go, I just want to fucking focus on what I'm
that's
good
it.
at. Yeah.
It makes it easier for myself. Like, the chaos is in the ring. That's it. They let me deal with that, and the rest of my life, they kind of is simple. These guys deal with the chaos outside of the ring. You can't do boxing if you've got chaos on both sides of the ring, you know.
That's well said.
It's better to leave that in there for when the bright lights are on. But if you got chaos going on with external factors, it's too hard. It's way too hard.
The last thing you want in your head in the ring is like, someone owes me an invoice or something.
Yeah, man, you don't want that.
Yeah, you know one thing, mate. When I first started, I'm like, I'm going to be a promoter, right? And I'm like, I suck at public speaking. And I'm like, fuck it, I've got to get better at this. So I went and joined the Toastmasters club.
Yep.
And there's about 50 people in my club. It's Parramatta Club. And I went a few times. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get up and do a speech just about boxing. All these guys were all suits. They couldn't relate to boxing whatsoever. And so I'm like, stuff it. 7-minute speech, got up, no notes, and I gave it about boxing. And I was so surprised then that how people related to it. And I said, you know, you can't relate to boxing itself, but what you can relate to is the principles that I've learned from boxing. And I said, if you apply these principles in any situation, you're going to be successful. And then end up winning the best speech of the night.
Oh, well done.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. And I was so chuffed with, like, I was more nervous for that than for a fight. Yeah. And then after that, I'm like, okay, this is something that I really need to improve on in myself, because in order to get to where we're going to go, I need to get better at speaking. And so this is what we're doing, all this stuff now. It's all building towards that.
Yeah, there's two things before we finish in this potty, but like, one is when you see successful careers in boxing, it's the fights, the quality of the fights, the promos, but it's the partnerships up. What do you think makes a really good career? What things make someone not just a great fighter, but will have a great career in Australia boxing at the moment?
Oh, definitely partnerships is a big one. You know, the relationships along the way. Like a life is all about relationships, and the relationships you build. You know, if you can connect that with the everyday viewer on TV, like and really build that sort of relationship to you, that's going to build your career. Then it's also all the connections you make along the way. So even for him, introducing you to him, it's like this is just opening different doors for him, and he's got to walk through those doors. You know, as a fighter, you have different things that are presented to you, and you can pick your paths. So you got to be guided in the right direction, have good people around you, and I think that's really going to serve you to have a good career.
Yeah, with you, I mean, being a boxer and now being a professional boxer out of the amateurs, I mean, what do you think the state of boxing as a boxer is at the moment? Do you feel like it's hugely scary, or it's full opportunity, or not backed enough? What?
I always like to have a positive mindset on things. I don't really look at things too much like in a negative or hateful way. I think there's so much opportunity, and I think if we're talking about Australian boxing, this is the best rise we've ever been on, you know, because we've got so many people reaching the world level now. And for a country of what I think is 20 million people, we have per the amount of people we have so many people reaching that top level, if not world champions. We've got Shanika Johnson, just undisputed women's world champion. We've got Tim, Jayo Pataya, Liam Parra. These guys are making the waves for people, and there's so much talent here, and if not so much more inspiration. So many people making things happen that we can go, oh, like we can do this, we can make things happen, you know. So I think Australian boxing is on the rise, and I continue to do what I'm doing because I want to be up there too. You know?
Hell yeah, you will.
That's we really want to awaken that as well, because if people see there's a pathway there for them, then they're gonna walk that path as well. And so what we're doing is really just showing guys you can make it. We're like on our next show now coming up, we had a guy, Tyrell Adams. So this guy fought on our first ever amateur card as an amateur. Then he made his pro debut at the start of the year on our card, and now he's going to fight for a title on our card.
Oh,
you know, and seeing that pathway, it's like we want to get to a point where we offer world titles, and you know, and we can put those fights, those big fights on. So you can go from an amateur all the way to the top to our promotion, and that's something that's I don't think it's ever been done before in boxing history in the world, you know, from amateurs to professionals as well. And a big thing that we're doing is focusing on the grassroots, which is massive.
Yeah, that's great. You know what I love about your attitude is there is in the Australian identity, we love understated people. That's what I loved about Kosciuszko. It was like he's always had opponents loud and proud and all that, and that's cool because it draws up a big audience, gets a lot of attention. You scream on the side of the street, you're gonna get attention. But you got like a Kosciuszko who's just like, we'll see. And I think that earned him a lot as a sportsman.
Yeah.
In why we wanted to see. I like how there's a place for the jester in boxer. I think as a brand guy, so as a brand expert, I think there's a place in the world for the jesters and the loudmouths because it does act like a megaphone. And there's a place for like the Johnnies who are understated and are disciplined and they're more zen. It's like, oh, who's going to win here? Like this guy's making big claims, and this guy is he going to survive or not? And that's always been the David and Goliath narrative.
Yeah.
So I like the idea that you don't have to feel the pressure to be what you're not in order to get a crowd. Because sometimes it can be the card. That's what the promoters are going to do as well.
Yeah, I think I'm not. I don't think I need to talk too much or say the most wild shit on to someone to talk bad about them or to this talks. And not even that, but the training is where I put most of my trust in. You know, my effort in the gym is where I put my trust in. We can say a little back and forth joking, but I'm here to fight, not to talk too much or say anything unrealistic. You know, and we just seen there was a fight on the weekend, Belunga and Hamza Shiraz, and Belunga was talking crazy. He was gonna do this. Like he sold the fight, it sounded good. Got stopped in the third round, I think. So
he got knocked out.
He got knocked out, and pretty badly too.
Oh no, really?
So
it's quite embarrassing.
It's not that, you know. I think Belunga has skills. Shiraz has skills. They're elite professionals, but. Man, you better back it up if you're gonna talk like that.
What's the old proverb? It's like pride comes before a fall, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Don't talk like that if you haven't got the skills to do it.
Oh,
you know?
Oh my god, yeah. That's so like this event coming up. You guys are promoting a massive event. Yeah, talk a bit about that. There's a lot of prep going into it right now.
Yeah, it's very exciting. This will be the show to really put us on the map. We're just talking to some broadcasters now, so hopefully we'll get something locked away this week. We've got some amazing fights lined up. Like this will be the one to really put us out there. We've got Ebony Bridges, who's a ex-female world champion. She's signed to Jake Paul, actually.
Nice.
She's going to come back and host it with Monique and then also myself. So it's going to be the first boxing show that's hosted by 3 fighters, which is going to be one amazing thing. But Johnny's going to fight on the card as well, and it's going to be an awesome atmosphere.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. What's really impressive about you is that events are being put on by actual people who have been in the ring themselves.
Yeah, correct.
Versus people who just see it as a gap in the market.
Yeah. You know what I look at? Like, I look at different things, and some people look at it as a business to profit off, and then there's other people that want to come in and make a positive change. And so I've come all the way up through the grassroots. So I've been in this sport for over 25 years. You know, I had 25 amateur fights when I was young, did all that sort of stuff. And so I know what it's like, what these guys go through at every little step. Like, fought a professional on the Tim Tszyu undercard at Paris Stadium. I've been at all the different levels. And it's like these guys give their heart and soul to it, and but they got to be rewarded as well. And I really want to fight for them and get them the credit that they deserve as well.
Yeah, I want people to back you, because by backing you, that you're going to back guys like Johnny.
For sure.
And I see some businesses you should see as a charity, not because you're going to get something back as a tax deduction, but because your support to guys like you are going to make an impact. That's the whole point of a charity. It's not like, it's so selfish to give to a charity just because I'm giving a tax deduction if that's the only thing. So I want to give to something with money and time and skill so that the world be better. And that's what I think about with my businesses. Business for good, purpose, people and profit. Those are the 3 Ps, because you need all of them. You need a profit to help people, but that profit's got to be about helping a purpose. And you've got a strong purpose, because if Wanderer Promotions can get backed, and you guys can raise up, how many fighters are you trying to help?
We're, mate, like everyone in Australia pretty much. So, but it's, if you put a number on it, we'd say 500 at least.
So your mission is to help 500 fighters around Australia.
Correct.
To build a career, get them promoted, get them partners.
Yeah. We really want to build that pathway for them and build a map so set them up, not just in the ring, but outside the ring as well.
Yeah, and Johnny, we're so excited about you, mate. Like, you're just getting started.
Just getting started.
I say that every time I turn another year around the sun. Like, I'll be 80 and I'll be saying, I'm just getting started.
Just getting going.
You're on.
This is my year.
Yeah, I'm in my deathbed.
I can feel it.
Just lastly, before we finish, Johnny, you've got a fight this weekend. You've got a fight coming up on the cards with Ricky. How do you feel going into the fight?
I'm ready to do what I've been practicing for years. It's not just this camp. I don't really just think, just this camp. I've been practicing to do this for a long time, you know. So ready to do what I have to do on Saturday, and see it.
Yeah. That's crazy. Boxing is life. It is, right?
I always say it's life on steroids, because whatever you feel in life, it's so much more intensified in the ring. You get hit, you get hurt, shots that you don't see coming hit you, and you gotta adapt. And it's those that are most adaptable to change, especially when you're in a hard fight. You gotta change your game plan, because you don't know what's coming on the other side. You don't know how strong the guy is, what he possesses, his power, speed, anything like that. So you gotta learn to adapt quickly in that moment.
Yeah, 100%. I think, touching on that, boxing is everything outside of life, is in the ring as well, but it's magnified, you know. Yeah, it's how are you gonna deal with getting hit or hurt, or how are you gonna you can prepare for things too, you know. Like, preparation is great in everything. A prepared fighter is a ready fighter, you know. If you're prepared for something, but also if you get something unexpected, how do you deal with it? It's the same outside of life. If something happens, you know, it's how you deal with it that defines you as a person.
Yeah, I think real deep, boys. I think, like, if I were in the ring with anybody, I'd be thinking, I need to know my assets really good. Like, most people are gonna be taller than me, so you have to mitigate that.
Of course.
So I have to have a tactic around that. Or I've never fought someone at 6'6" with a reach like that. Or, like you said, to your point, in life and in the ring, you can throw a punch, but can you take it?
Yeah, 100%. And will you quit? That's a big one.
Will you quit? Will you get up? And if you don't get up in time, will you quit?
Mate, like I'll never forget the first sparring session I ever had. The guy just bashed the absolute crap out of me. He was only up to my shoulders as well. And
Really?
and my brothers had come and watched the sparring session, and they were driving home in the car. They just laughing at me. Yeah, man, you just got bashed.
By a 5-foot midget. Yeah.
But then I said, you know what? I'm going to come back and beat that guy. And so we started training together alongside each other for 6 months. And he was getting it over me every time we sparred. And then after about 6 months, we started going even. And then after 1 year, he refused to spar me because I would end up schooling him so much, you know. And I always kept that in my mind. And I'm like, mate, like if you don't quit and you're willing to put in the work, then you're going to get the results.
What was he getting you on? It just weren't good enough?
He had massive power. Massive power for a small guy. I found out after he knocked out 4 other guys in the gym before my spar.
Wow.
I'm like, man, they set me up.
Yeah, that's just so crazy. Like that. See, my philosophical brain goes too wild with fighting because you got guys that have different attributes of strength. So he's got. You just said an attribute. He's got massive power. Some have massive reach. Some have massive speed. Right? Apparently, right. So you gotta know what yours is.
Yeah,
You gotta play these
like
strengths.
chess. It's like chess, with very massive high consequences if you make a mistake. But it is very much like chess, because every move there's another potential move from that. You got to be 6 steps ahead, not just
Correct.
1 move ahead. And if you make the wrong decision, sometimes it can be a good decision but not the right decision. You know, it's a lot of decision making.
Here's an interesting question for both you guys as fighters. Is the sixth sense a real thing in the ring?
100%. I believe in it. Like I believe when you fight a man, like when you're actually in it, you can feel his aura, you know, and you know what. And it's like things happen so quick in there that you can't rely on your thinking brain. Sometimes it's just instinct, and that comes from. I believe it's your sixth sense, you know, like, and it can be like programming, muscle memory, all that sort of stuff. But like sometimes it's your instincts as well. You would feel that, no?
Yeah, I don't really recognize the same person when I come out of the ring. Especially with fights in the gym, it's a bit different. But in the fights, you don't recognize this kind of instinct. It takes over, and especially if you've had this thing on your mind for a long time, and you can believe and visualize what you're gonna do in there. Half the time it just happens, and then you watch it after. You go, oh yeah, I did that. Forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
You know, I reckon it's one of the biggest forms of mastery, because in the lead up to a fight, you got so much fear and anxiety about you playing out all these different scenarios in your head.
Yeah, wow.
And then even in the change room before you walk in, like especially if you're doing it in front of a packed crowd, like everyone, all eyes are on you. And so you can walk into the ring and just go, fuck, this is actually happening now. We're doing this, you know? and then when you get in there, it's like all your fears can take over, but you got to keep everything at bay and say, now hang on a second, I've got this, you know? And that's the real sort of mastery. Like I've always found when I've had a fight, like I'd be shooting myself all the way up to the fight. And then when I'm actually in the fight, I'm free, because it's like, okay, all the fear's gone now. Like this is now can be, all the practice is done. Everything's done. I've ticked all the boxes. Now you just got to be in the moment and enjoy it.
Yeah, there's a Japanese fighting philosophy. It's called Mushin in Japanese, and it means empty of mind. So there's a principle that you don't rise to the level of your expectations, you default to the level of your training. So the idea is that when you're in the fight, you're not thinking about logistical left, rights and all that. You're just empty of mind.
Of course.
100%. That's like probably the best description of boxing I've ever heard. Like it's very much like that. At least for myself, I feel like it's I don't ever think I'm gonna do this unless I get instructions. It's more it just happens. You see it, the puzzle starts fixing itself together, and then it happens.
Can you give us a moment maybe from a fight that you've had where like maybe you saw that coming together after the rounds?
This last fight, the morning I woke up, I knew I was gonna stop him. Like, and as soon as we got in the ring, actually the morning I woke up, I went for a walk and a coffee with my mum, and she's always asked me before, how do you feel? And I said, feel great. She goes, what? She goes, what?
Never better.
Are you okay? Okay. Yeah, I feel great. And she goes, what do you mean? Why are you being like, are you cocky or something? I said, nah, I'm going to stop this guy. She goes, what? I said, yeah, I'm going to stop him. And it's that that feeling, like I said, it's that instinct. I just knew. And as soon as I got in the ring, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know what punch, what. I just knew. I was like, this guy is not going to last more than a few rounds. So, and I hit him with something, and then the training, like you said, starts to come in. All the things you've been practicing for, all the sparring sessions, all the days you wake up and you don't want to do it, that's where it starts to come in. And
awesome. You get awesome strength from that.
Yeah.
You know, when you know you haven't cheated the process, and you've woken up on all those mornings, you walk into the ring and think, fuck, I've done everything that I can. You know, that if you walk in there and think, oh, I could have done this, could have done that, did I do enough? Like, you don't want to be walking into the ring having any doubts at all.
Yeah, because I can imagine some people might be, do you know how some boxers or fighters might be, I'm a defensive boxer, like I'm a counter puncher.
Yeah.
So they lock themselves in maybe to that. Do you just go in, like you're just open to it, or how do you approach that?
I have a style, definitely a specific boxing style, but I understand, especially in professionals, you have to be a complete fighter. You can't just be one thing. You have to be able to do it all.
What would you say your style is?
I like to counterpunch.
Yeah.
You know, if a guy is gonna make mistakes, I like to be the one that catches those mistakes.
Makes them pay for them, yeah.
And I like to play the game a bit more. That I definitely enjoy playing the game kind of more I like to play chess, but at the same time, who doesn't love just punching? You punch me, I punch you, and one of us is going to crack. You know? My coach doesn't want to hear that. I'm sorry. My mum doesn't want to hear that either, but that's
good advice.
There
as
well, you know? Sometimes it's fun to just say, one of us is going to go.
If one of us has to go, it's going to be you, son. Yeah,
it's not going to be me.
Yeah.
It's not going to be me. So, yeah. But the style is definitely usually more of this.
Yeah, my style is my fist hits your face and your head hits the canvas.
That's it, yeah.
Good connection.
You anything to add?
No, mate. I think he's done awesome. Like, I think in terms of doing all this stuff like this, it's so important for these young fighters, you know, and really just seeing where he's going to go in the future. I'm super excited to see it, and I think he's going to reach high levels, very high levels.
Yeah. So for everyone watching or listening, make sure you check out Wanderer Promotions and keep an eye out for this guy. All the details in the show notes. But thanks, boys, for your time, and good luck with your fights, mate.
Thanks.
You're gonna go the distance, and you're gonna be great in Australia. I can tell with this guy's backing, and the world's your oyster.
Thank you.
I love it. Thanks, Matty.